Hey everybody, we have a returning guest today. Dominic is back because Dominic is one of the few mentees I had that took both my action boarding and my 10-week story mentorship kind of back to back. And he initially gave a testimonial for the action boarding, and I wanted to bring him back to speak about his experience in the 10-week mentorship. So, Dominic, welcome back. Nice to have you back again. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. So, we're just gonna talk a little bit about like the mentorship, the 10-week mentorship. Since you're one of the first students who took it back to back, right? Like, what would you say is like the biggest difference between the action boarding one and the 10-week story mentorship?
I would say this one goes more into story and a lot more into like how to develop your ideas. Also, the fact that we made two sequences together was also quite a big difference
Yeah.
because I was able to see like what feedback you had on an animal like style thing and then like on my own vision. And it was kind of just really interesting to see your feedback across two different projects.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. So tell us a little bit about the creation of these two sequences because the first one, like most people know that I give like a prompt for the first sequence, and then I let you develop like your original idea from scratch for the second one. Like, was there like a big difference in the way that you worked for the prompt and the way that you worked for your original sequence?
Yeah, so the prompt you gave was just to like find a piece of nature documentary and
Yeah.
try and like anthropomorphize the characters to
Hmm.
make like an animal action scene. And I think that was actually really fun because I never draw animals.
Yeah.
So being forced to do that, because like a lot of studios need you to be able to do that because for kids shows and certain genres and stuff. As far as the original idea went, I actually found that a lot harder than
Hmm.
being given a brief. It's often that when someone tells you what to do, that helps you be more creative.
Yeah.
Um, so I ended up making that baseball sequence, and that was also a huge challenge because I'd never really done a scene with so many different characters, and
Hmm.
like the trying to figure out the stage lines was super hard,
Yeah.
so that like they don't keep jumping about the place.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah. And you actually did 1,000 frames for that
and
sequence.
counting.
Yeah. 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 And it's counting because you're still actually cleaning up the sequence as we speak, right? It's still in the
Yeah,
works, right? And the animal one was a bit like shorter. It was more of like kind of warming you up, allowing you to kind of make your mistakes with the stuff that you were learning in the mentorship. And then I felt as though you had more confidence with the original sequence to even
yeah.
just go that far, right? And you know, tell us like more about the original sequence. Did it start and end the same way, or did it evolve? How much did it change as you were like doing this? Because you said it was really difficult. It was kind of like writing and directing your own film, right? So, how was that process?
Yeah, I mean, it changed a ton.
Yeah.
So the first revision you made after pitching it was like the dad character.
Hmm.
Um, the like the basic premise stayed the same, but the character dynamics, the amount of notes you gave me, and then trying to work out so that it makes sense, changed a whole lot. I think there was also a rivalry between two characters in my sequence,
Hmm.
and after pitching it to you and trying to work that out, it turns out that although it's my tendency to make like certain characters kind of mean because like you expect there to be a villain,
Hmm.
the conflict in my story was actually like more when you made the rival like a super nice dude.
Yeah.
Because then when my protagonist like throws the ball at him in the wrong way, you're like, oh no, he shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I guess I mainly just learned that like characters don't have to finish what they start as. Like they can change a lot as you figure out the correct relationships for a scene.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I want to talk a little bit about the mentorship itself as more of like um, something that's very adaptable to your situations and stuff like that. Because when you started, I can't remember if it was at the beginning of the mentorship or somewhere in the middle, where you said that you were applying for Goblin's school in France, the animation school in France, and they give you like a criteria to kind of fill out and stuff, you know. And for those of you who are listening or maybe want to like apply to Goblins and stuff, Dominic asked me if I could look over his portfolio and kind of tell him exactly, maybe what to draw, what mediums to use, and stuff like that. So, like, could you like? 'Cause I don't want to put words in your mouth, right? Like, could you like say how your initial portfolio was looking at the beginning, and then how it kind of looked at the end when you submitted it?
Sure. So as usual with my story sequences, I'll show them to you one way,
Yeah,
and then like once we've had the feedback, it will be completely different, and that's like awesome. Especially because in a lot of like online communities, you'll send your work, and people will actually be like too nice.
yeah,
They'll be like, "Oh yeah, this is great. Just keep it the same. It's awesome."
yeah,
But the feedback you gave me on Micah Ben's portfolio really tailored around trying out different mediums. I think I did a drawing with McDonald's crayons because I
yeah,
didn't have like nice fancy art crayons.
yeah,
So I just stole the ones from McDonald's. Um, you also influenced me a large degree in like finding cool subjects to draw and like what makes an appealing pose. Um, and even small stuff. So when I sent it to you, you also told me like make these little title cards, which wasn't in the brief,
yeah,
but I think that is a small detail that maybe helped me stand out a little bit.
yeah.
And you've always been super helpful, like being able to send messages, and you're always like super receptive to the questions, which is
Awesome,
awesome.
awesome. And congratulations again for those of you who don't know. Dominic will be attending uh, Animation School Goblins this September. I think you're hustling
Yeah,
to
this
find
September.
like a place to stay right now in France and
Yeah.
stuff. So I'm super excited for you. Maybe eventually you can teach me how to animate because I do not know how to animate. So that would be good. um, but yeah, what else could we kind of share with everyone else? So I want to kind of jump back to the fact that you took both mentorships. Would you say that um, if you could have, you started with the action board, and do you think you took the right sequences for the mentorship, like action first and then this one, or you wish that you probably took this one first and then the action one, or does it not matter like to you at all?
I think I did take them in the right order.
Yeah,
I think it would have worked the other way around, but having the action boarding mentorship, I think that one focuses more on how to make this scene from like a cinematography point of view.
hmm,
And it goes into story, but much more in terms of like the beats that make a scene interesting. And that was a really good foundation to bring into the feature mentorship because then you start talking about theme.
yeah,
And it's like if you have just cool action choreography without it meaning something underneath, it kind of doesn't mean anything. So it was good to learn almost like the template and
yeah,
then learn how to use it or what to use it for in the feature mentorship.
yeah. And did you had like before you took the action mentorship, did you have like any intention of continuing studies, or did you just really enjoy the action mentorship so much that you just wanted to like continue on, and then you after the action you decide, you know what, this was so good, I wanna do more, or did you initially know that you wanted to do them back to back?
So I didn't know initially it was because I loved the first one so much. I basically started trying to write my own sequence in between the two, and I was struggling, and I kind of realized that like a lot of online courses, learning the information is great, but really having someone that you can trust to critique it and to also practice your pitching skills is like huge.
Yeah,
So that's mainly why I came back.
yeah, also. And the thing I really like about you, Dominic, and I think what a lot of students should open up themselves to is just listen and do. Like for me, that's like
Yeah.
if you want to get anywhere fast, right? If you could just for me, Dominic has like a really good way of just leaving his ego outside the room whenever he comes to the mentorship. He's just always like listening. He's just like listening, absorbing everything, and then he just applies everything. And as you can see, he just listened, applied, he got into goblins. He created two original sequences and one kind of based on my, kind of prompt. And I think that ability to just listen and learn, right? I'm not saying not to ask questions. Dominic asked a lot of questions, trust me. But he was always asking questions to kind of elevate his sequence or to clarify something. He wasn't I never felt as though Dominic was like, yeah, I don't like this advice. I never felt like you would ask a question to kind of say like, gotcha, Raj, this guy said that and you're wrong. You were always kind of like receptive and always willing to kind of learn and stuff. And you know when I get mentees like that, I always try to help them more. The more questions you ask, the more answers I will give you, as much as I can. And even with you ventured kind of into live action a bit at school, and you were asking for some like story tips on how to handle it and stuff. And it turned out pretty good for somebody who had to do everything behind the camera. It looked really good. I don't know if you might let me share the link to that so people can watch that. But
That's
Dominic,
fine.
yeah, he did like a short film with like 4 or 5 actors, and he had to be the cinematographer, the writer, cameraman, lighting man, schedule the day, locations, everything. He had to do all of those things, right? So, what I'm trying to say is like, the mentorship isn't just for the stuff I want to teach you, that I prepare. If you want help in other things, whether it be like a portfolio or a short story that you're doing on the side, or you just want advice on other things, I do help you because you have me all to yourself. Dominic had me all to myself. He would message me during the week. I would always answer him and stuff. So it's not like you just come, uh, we talk for 2 hours, and then I never see you again until the following week, right? So, and Dominic loved the mentorship so much that he came back for more. Unfortunately, Goblins is gonna steal him away. I'm sure he probably would have want to do something else again, but I think Goblins is the right place for him now, to go and learn how to animate and do cool stuff that I can do. But yeah, so I think that's it. Dominic, do you have any maybe last words or anything else you want to share?
I would say one caveat um, to the thing is if you're going to take the mentorship, it's completely okay to disagree with you.
Yeah,
And I think I did that only once or twice,
yeah,
but I always tried whatever you said before I disagreed.
yeah,
I think like the one note I remember was you recommended in my racing scene taking the roofs off the car so that
yeah,
it was like they could actually look at each other. And I think that would have worked, but it would have also been like I think maybe like a different tone.
yeah,
And I think because I also listened to a lot of other notes, it was like I was able to see all of these are helping the story, and this one note I'm allowed to disagree with
yeah,
because it doesn't match what I want to do.
yeah. I'm super glad you brought up that because I like my teaching method is more about helping you be the best director you could be, and not you're not directing my film.
Yeah,
So you don't have to listen to me. I just kind of throw stuff at the wall and tell you maybe why I think this is a good idea. And you don't always have to do these suggestions. They're just suggestions and stuff. So it's more like a guiding process. So thanks, Dominic, for sharing that. Yes, I'm not like, listen to me kind of thing. But oftentimes when you do listen, and you execute, it's more about like execution. Dominic used to execute stuff, right? Which is super, super important. And I think that's the main thing that helped him be where he is now. Because I could tell him to do stuff, and he could probably just not do it. He could probably say yeah, 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 and just not do it. So execution is like super important. So again, for those of you who are watching, if you're interested in joining any of my mentorships, I currently have a lot of them. I have some new ones starting from beginner straight up to advanced. So if you're interested in joining any of them or maybe finding out about any of them, you could direct message me wherever you're seeing this video, LinkedIn, Instagram, email, and we could schedule a consultation call, and we could see which mentorship is right for you. So Dominic, again, thank you so much. Good luck on all your adventures in France, and look forward to seeing more of your future work, man.
You too. Thanks, man.
Awesome.